Strong emotions can affect your capacity to think and reason. When you're in such a state, postpone driving until later. Remain calm in traffic. Try to avoid offending other drivers. Stay in your own lane. Cooperate. Remember to signal. And avoid confrontations. There are all sorts of reasons why drivers become angry, and they express their anger through many levels of aggressive behavior. The first level puts the security of your vehicle in jeopardy when you gesture angrily or scream at other motorists. The second level of aggressiveness includes drivers who cut people off, slam on the brakes, or tailgate, either to frighten other motorists or to get even for some imagined slight. The third level of aggressiveness is characterized by confrontation. The two drivers get out of their vehicles, continue to argue, and physically attack one another. The fourth level of aggressiveness leads a driver to use his or her vehicle as a weapon against another person or to slam into a vehicle. In such cases, the motorist may also use a firearm or any other object close at hand. You cannot control the environment or the reactions of other motorists. On the other hand, you can remain master of yourself and your actions. This is the point where you must begin protecting yourself. Emotions such as anger, fear, joy, or even depression can interfere with your ability to think, your power of concentration, and your decision-making capacity. And yet all these elements are essential to your security while driving. When you feel anger or frustration, try to relax so as to not lose your temper and make sure to concentrate on driving. When you're driving, realize that you cannot control traffic, but you do have the power to curb your own reactions. Don't become aggressive behind the wheel. Your vehicle isn't bulletproof, and you may have to deal with a hostile driver. If you have a history of stress while driving, take a course in anger management. Meanwhile, to reduce tension behind the wheel, plan your time so you won't have to race against the clock, and plan your schedule to avoid rush hour traffic. Create a more soothing environment in your vehicle. Choose soft music. Use the climate control system and seat controls to improve your comfort zone. Be courteous. Courtesy is contagious and can help diffuse a tense situation, especially in traffic jams. Always give other drivers the benefit of the doubt. You're far from perfect yourself. To avoid offending other motorists, correct any bad driving habits that may infuriate or antagonize other drivers. Don't block the passing lane designated for faster traffic. Never block the road or a lane in order to talk with a pedestrian or another driver for any reason whatsoever. If you find yourself in a turning lane by mistake, make the turn even if you haven't intended to do so. If you're towing a trailer and vehicles collect behind you, pull over and let them pass.
Not a minute too soon.
All motorists feel threatened when another driver cuts them off or crowds into their lane. Don't tailgate. Instead, maintain a reasonable distance between yourself and the other vehicle. When passing, don't get too close to the vehicle ahead. If you do, you lose your speed advantage or speed superiority. You block your field of vision, and you may very well annoy the driver in front of you. To complete your passing maneuver properly, make sure that you can see the entire front end of the other vehicle in your rear view mirror before pulling in. Don't slow down after you return to your lane. This only annoys the driver you've just overtaken. When you merge onto a freeway, leave enough room between your vehicle and other motorists. Whenever another driver would like to merge, cooperate and change lanes, if possible. Otherwise, adjust your speed so as to create a gap. Change lanes only when necessary, and do so following the correct procedures. Don't pull up too close to other vehicles, and especially don't weave in and out of traffic. Communication is one of the keys to cooperation on the road, and by the same token to road safety. A breakdown in communication often brings about confrontations, which in turn lead directly to road rage. Failure to signal your intentions remains the most common source of irritation. After completing any maneuver, check to make sure your turn signal is no longer flashing. When driving with your high beams, remember to dim the low beam so as to not blind oncoming motorists. If a motorist blinds you with his or her high beams, flash your high beams just once and look far ahead toward the right side of the road. Flashing the high beams repeatedly is very annoying. Use this communication tool sparingly. Once or twice is enough. Do not overuse your horn. 2 short taps are better than 1 long blast. Never sound your horn to attract people's attention for reasons other than road safety. Sounding the horn as soon as the traffic light turns to green has been the cause of scores of violent road rage incidents. Avoid developing this provocative habit by waiting for a few seconds. What do you think of this way of behaving?
Rather ridiculous, isn't it? Those who continue on their way go on to live another day.
Here are some other examples of critical zones in which confrontations must be avoided. When parking, don't encroach on other spaces and never use areas reserved for the handicapped. Check carefully before backing up or opening your car. Don't fight over a parking space. It's not worth risking your life for it. Don't let yourself be distracted by the telephone when you're behind the wheel. Users of cellular phones are generally seen as careless drivers and as a menace to society. Get your cell phone equipped with hands-free, speed dialing, and voice recognition options to reduce possible distraction. Ideally, park your car in a safe place before using the phone. Avoid displaying bumper stickers, flags, or slogans which might offend other motorists. The best way to respond to road rage is simply to ignore it. Don't rise to the bait. It takes 2 to tango. Keep your distance from disconcerting drivers and don't even look at aggressive drivers or those itching for a fight. As a general rule, whenever you drive, lock all doors and leave yourself enough room to get away from any potential aggressor. Respect the speed limit and avoid accelerating to get through yellow lights. If another motorist is stalking you, don't go home and don't get out of your car. If you have a cellular phone, call for help. Otherwise, go to a police station, a shopping center, or any other place where you might find help and eyewitnesses. When you reach your destination, use your horn or car alarm system to attract attention. When you cross paths with an aggressive driver, make a note of the license number and report the incident to the proper authorities. There are all sorts of reasons why drivers get angry, and they express their anger through many types of aggressive behavior. If you have a history of being tense behind the wheel, take a course in anger management. Meanwhile, as a means of reducing tension on the road, plan your time so as to avoid racing against the clock, and change your schedule to avoid driving at rush hour. Don't tailgate. Instead, maintain a reasonable distance between yourself and the other vehicle. When passing, don't get too close to the vehicle in front of you. To properly complete your passing maneuver, make sure that you can see the entire front end of the other vehicle in your rear-view mirror before pulling in. When you have to merge onto a freeway, leave enough room between your vehicle and other motorists. Forgetting to communicate with your turn signals remains the most common source of irritation. Be very careful. When driving with your high beam headlights, remember to dim your low beams to avoid blinding oncoming motorists. Do not overuse your horn. 2 short taps are better than 1 long blast. Never sound your horn to attract people's attention for reasons other than road safety. When parking, don't encroach on other spaces and never use areas reserved for the handicapped. Don't let yourself be distracted by the telephone when you're behind the wheel. Park your car in a safe place or use the hands-free option. Avoid displaying bumper stickers, flags, or slogans which might offend other motorists. The best way to respond to road rage is simply to ignore it. Don't react to provocation. If another vehicle is stalking you, go to a police station or any other place where you might find help. When you cross paths with an aggressive driver, make a note of the license number and report the incident to the proper authorities.